Welcome back to Fandom on Demand. This week in my Starsky and Hutch reviews, I finally get to talk about The Fix, aka... Oh my god, it's just the most amazing episode ever. You guys just don't even understand. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good. Oh my god, I can't. Hutch, he hurts so good. And Starsky's like this super protective, intense papa bear. And it's just, oh my god, their love is so pure. And I can't, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched to talk about this episode because I just have a lot of feelings about it, okay? A lot of feelings. It's not my favorite episode of the series, but it's definitely in my top 5. It's the first major hurt comfort episode we get of the series, and there are more than a few of those sprinkled throughout. It's also the first girlfriend episode we get of the show, and unfortunately there's more than a few of those sprinkled throughout as well. Well, maybe not unfortunately. Some of the girlfriend episodes are actually pretty good, but I digress. Let's just watch this so I can get my fix. So we start out with the guys bringing in a perp, and Hutch is just itching to make a phone call to his whore girlfriend. And when I say whore, I mean whore. Jeannie's a hooker. Starsky covers for his lovesick partner, which is really sweet. They're both actually in pretty great moods at the start of this episode that will make the angst so much sweeter. Hutch has got his girlfriend hidden away at a beach house, and he's protecting her from a guy named Forrest. He hasn't even told Starsky where she is. Hutch, always tell Starsky everything. Always. Hutch is so excited about getting free sex from a hooker that he gives Starsky some extra money for candy. And I believe this is the first time that we ever see Hutch's place or either of their places. And I really like this little cottage. I don't know if I liked it better than Venice Place, but I definitely liked the exterior. It was unique. I wonder why they changed it. Pretty much right when he walks through the door, he's attacked and subdued. I expected more of a fight from you, Hutchinson. Poor Jeannie's getting anxious, and I really feel for her. Sitting around waiting for someone to call or show up who's just getting later and later is such a horrible feeling. Hutch is getting beaten and won't tell them where Jeannie is. Forrest and his right-hand man, Monk, have a difference of opinion about what to do in this situation. Monk suggests of just forgetting Hutch and the girl. Forrest isn't down with that, so he comes up with the rather ingenious idea of stringing Hutch out on heroin.
OD? Monk, how come you're always wrong? We don't overdose him. We string him out. We get him hung up on horse. Pretty soon he's gonna beg us to tell us where she is.
Oh yeah, now we're getting to the good stuff. Is it wrong how much I'm enjoying this? Back at the station, an oblivious Starsky continues to cover for Hutch.
Well, you know how it is. He's in love.
What you mean is he's shacked up.
Yeah, well, she is a pretty girl, Captain.
When he goes to see Huggy, who tells a story about Jeannie and Hutch acting weird one night, Starsky starts to grow concerned.
Do I know her? Hutch brings her in here about 2 months ago and cons me into putting her on. Yeah, she was good, too. Then one night, she and Hutch took off out the back way, right in the middle of heavy trade. Goodbye, Huggy, that's all she said, and they're both gone. Biff, bam, thank you, ma'am. Looked like she's seen a ghost or something.
And I just have to say that Starsky looks especially gorgeous in this scene. What were we talking about? While searching Hutch's place, he discovers that his gun is still there, and that convinces him that someone's taken him.
Hutch wouldn't visit his mother without his gun.
Yeah, he's always wanted to put a bullet in his mother. Dobie finally agrees to put an APB out on Hutch. And Starsky, not that I'm complaining, but your shirt is almost completely undone. Is that really work appropriate? Hutch, in the throes of heroin addiction, finally breaks down and tells Forrest where Jeannie is. And I really have to give props to David Soul here. He's just fantastic in this episode. I know he didn't sleep for days preparing for this, and it just... wow, I mean, he portrays a man who's lost all his dignity and control over himself, and bravo. Starsky, who is officially no longer screwing around, talks to this little creep named Mickey, and ugh, this guy's just... blech. Starsky is so thoroughly intense in this scene. It's the first time we get a real glimpse of the serious side of Starsky. When he needs to, he drops that kid personality like that. And in its place is the most badass who's ever badassed. Forrest goes to collect Jeannie, and for some reason he lets her see Hutch. She feels guilty about the situation and demands that Forrest let Hutch go. Obviously Forrest isn't going to do that and instead orders Monk and the rest of his goons to kill him and get rid of the body. Luckily, Hutch is lucid enough to decide that he doesn't like the idea of becoming shark food and manages to get free.
Because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. La da 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 da.
Two uniformed cops recognize Hutch stumbling down the street and call it in, and Starsky's there in a flash.
He's your partner, isn't he?
Nope, never seen him before in my life. This scene, the way they just melt into each other, the way that Starsky doesn't even hesitate to put his own career on the line to protect Hutch, it just kills me. The way he knows, without Hutch having to say a word, that he obviously didn't do this to himself. It's just such a beautiful display of loyalty. Starsky decides to take him to Huggies to help him kick the drugs. They're on a bed together. Starsky's holding him and comforting him in any way he can. My cup runneth over. While Jeannie broods in the pool, Forrest would still like to see Hutch killed. I swear, Forrest and Monk are some kind of couple. Either that or this episode has just put my slashy brain into complete overdrive. Back at Huggies, Hutch is upset because Starsky has been cheating at checkers. In all seriousness, Starsky is a rock in this scene. He doesn't so much as flinch at any of Hutch's outbursts. He just calmly talks to him and comforts him, and it's just great the way that Hutch is so agitated but still responds to that. Huggy tells Starsky that there were some people coming around asking about Jeannie and Hutch. Starsky tries to get in contact with Dobie about the situation, but no dice. Starsky is gentle but firm at the same time as he tries to get some answers out of Hutch.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Hey, how many different voices did you hear?
3 or 4.
Names.
I don't know.
Names.
I don't? Come on, Starsky!
Names. Monk.
This is tough love at its finest. Monk figures out that Starsky probably has Hutch and has him hidden away somewhere to help him clean up. You know, Monk is actually a lot smarter than Forrest. Why is Monk not the one in charge? I feel an uprising is in order.
Just maybe we ice both Starsky and Hutch, and Mr. Forrest will give us a Christmas bonus in it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's scared that that's gonna happen. And the next morning, look how cute Starsky is sprawled out in that chair with a towel covering him up and one shoe on. Aww. Hutch seems to be feeling much calmer as Starsky calls Dobie to get some information about the guys from the night before.
Well, I think the patient's gonna survive.
Oh, Starsky. It's good.
And in a bit I've always wondered about, Dobie randomly starts shouting mid-sentence.
Monk. Finals. 9. Niner. 1. 5. Rechammer Street.
And I have to give a shout out to Dobie and his relationship with the boys for not reporting this to IA. Starsky obviously trusted him enough to tell him about the situation, and Dobie obviously trusts both of them enough to believe that Hutch didn't do this to himself and that Starsky can handle the situation. The boys have a brief but sweet reunion. Unfortunately, Starsky runs off to check on the address Dobie gave him.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. I'll check him later.
No, Starsky, can't you just stay with him a little longer? Don't go. It was so good. Just after he leaves, Dobie calls back and ends up telling Huggy about Mickey, who apparently has some information regarding Hutch. Huggy both fails to relay this message to Starsky and fails to keep an eye on Hutch, as he just told Starsky that he would. Huggy, look, I know you can't physically restrain Hutch even in his weakened state, but you could try a little harder than you did. But aside from those two things, Huggy is really an amazing friend in this episode. I mean, this was a guy who a couple of episodes ago didn't even want them using the front door, and now he's housing a strung-out cop. Aw, Huggy, you old softy. Anyway, Hutch ends up going to the meeting that was set up for Starsky. The address gets Starsky nowhere, but he finally gets the message that he was supposed to meet Mickey. No thanks to Huggy. Hutch, obviously not at 100%, obviously not even at like 70%, gets himself in trouble again, and cue obligatory shootout. The car's been hit! The car's been hit! This is not a drill! The car has been hit! Starsky manages to take out Monk and what's his name, which is too bad. I really did like Monk. he might be my favorite villain of the series. And Hutch has been hiding on top of a fence this whole time. Starsky helps him down and they share their first full-on hug of the series, of which there's only 2, by the way. Both initiated by Hutch in moments of overwhelming vulnerability from him. And it's beautiful. They arrest Forrest and Jeannie dumps Hutch.
No, I won't be here.
Wow. He went through all of that and he didn't even get his free hooker sex. I will say that David Soul looks particularly lovely in this scene. He's normally not my type, but something about the lighting combined with how sick and beaten he looks. Okay, I'm weird. I'm gonna stop talking now. So as not to end the episode on too much of a downbeat note, Starsky offers to let Hutch drive his car. So cute. And there's no tag in this episode, which I think is appropriate. And that was the fix. Oh my God! The performances by our 2 leads in this episode are just phenomenal. David Soul knocks it out of the park. He was clearly committed to doing this right, and it shows, and he sold every second of it. And Paul Michael Glaser balances it out perfectly with his unwavering, supportive, and protective portrayal of Starsky, and I can't. It's strange to think that this happened so early in the series because the scenes of Hutch detoxing are so intense and the chemistry is so on fire that I can't believe they hadn't already known each other for years by this point. As a hurt comfort episode, it's probably the best of the series because it's heavy on both. As a girlfriend episode, it's one of the more superficial ones because Jeannie's more of a plot device to get the events moving than a character that we're really meant to connect with, either as a person in and of herself or as a love interest for Hutch. As just an episode of television, it's powerful stuff and it remains one of the most memorable hours of TV I've ever seen in my life. Like I said, the scenes of Hutch detoxing in Huggy's apartment, they're just some of the best of the series, and I just credit to the writers, credit to the actors, just credit all around. Everyone gets credit, all the credit. You guys get credit. Congratulations on the fix, you guys. This has been Fandom on Demand, bringing you fandom when you demand it.